to Speaking with One Voice with Rodney Payne. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, topics you'd like discussed on the show, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at rpayne@onevoiceinc.org. That's rpayne@onevoiceinc.org. You can also search for us on Acast, Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Just look for Speaking with One Voice. Now, here's your host, Rodney Payne.
Hello and welcome to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. Listen, I'm just so excited. We are on our new platform where you can catch us, where you catch all of your podcasts, but now you can catch us on YouTube. That's right, our YouTube channel at Rodney R. Payne. Do me a favor, go over there right now and subscribe so that you can get this new content as soon as it is available. We are off and running, and I am so excited to continue to bring you great information to help you on your leadership journey. We are here to help you, the entrepreneur, the leader, the one who desires personal growth. Each and every week, we're going to bring you content that can add value to you right now. That's right, no gimmicks, no strings attached. You can consume this content every week and get better. And so I just want to get started today with our topic. This week, we're going to talk about fostering team spirit, the glue of leadership. When we think about this thing, the fostering team spirit, the glue of leadership, what I really want to do is I'm not trying to be a cheerleader, but what I know is that no leader makes it by themselves. When we make it and we find what we call success, however we might define that success, it happens as a result of the team. And how do we get so many different personalities, different backgrounds to come together, different skill sets and expertise to gel and create this thing called a team that creates this thing called success? That's why team spirit is so important. So we're not trying to be a rah-rah cheerleader, as I stated, but we do want to be a team that's able to come together as a team and really effectively have ownership in our processes, have ownership in our product, and deliver in a culture that's conducive to success and growth. So there are just a few things I want to share with you on today that will help you foster team spirit and understand that this will be the glue of leadership. This will be the thing that holds your team together. So first of all, let's talk about it. We're going to have team spirit. You can't have team spirit without celebrations. That's right, celebrations. We have to learn how to celebrate our wins, big and small. Now, for me, let me just tell you, you're going to hear this from me. If you've been listening to any of my content for any length of time, you're going to hear me say this as I live by this. I don't celebrate small victories. I celebrate all victories. So we have to understand that every time we win, it's important that we celebrate that win. Now, listen, I'm not suggesting that we throw a party or rent out a facility to have this grandiose thing for a small victory, but I am saying that every victory is worth being recognized. Every victory deserves that we acknowledge it, no matter where it comes from. So there's a lot that we can look at in recognizing our achievements. There's a lot that happens when we can celebrate to boost motivation. There's a lot that happens when we can build camaraderie or culture within our team simply because we're willing to celebrate. There is so much value in celebration. And so our goal, again, I'm not trying to celebrate small victories. I'm trying to celebrate all victories. That's right. Why? Because I want to recognize everyone's contribution on the team. This is so important to our growth and our success and momentum. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, we want to recognize everyone's contribution on the team. We've got to recognize that everyone matters on the team. Every player matters. So you can't have success in the front of the house if we don't have success in the back of the house. Well, you have to have success in the field with the sales team, but you also have to have success with the implementation team, and you also have to have success with the relationship team. So it's important that we weave these things together and we celebrate at every opportunity. Now, let me just say this. It's important that while we're going to celebrate, we must celebrate according to the size of the victory. I don't celebrate small victories. I do celebrate all victories, but I don't throw the same celebration for every victory. I want us to understand that celebration is going to be so important to us that we have to really be careful not to be over celebratory, right? Not everyone wants to walk in the office and have pom poms and woo, 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 but to acknowledge, to appreciate, to do a handwritten note. You did a great job last week, Tina. I appreciate you. Those types of things go a long way. So at the end of the year, we've met our goal. We've blown it out of the water. Yes, let's go have an annual party, a celebration. Let's go out and make a few toasts here and there, give some awards, and have a big, big party. But we can't wait 365 days for the next party. I want us to celebrate along the way. And if we're going to do this, now, everyone is not a celebration type personality. Some people are 100% business, and a lot of leaders are like this. We want results, we want to get it done. But listen, I want to help you. If you want to truly foster team spirit and have this glue that's going to hold your leadership together, you're going to have to learn how to celebrate. That's right, learn how to celebrate. Now, when you learn how to celebrate, here's the key. No one wants a disingenuous celebration. Nobody wants to be to get a something that sounds scripted. It's not real. It's not sincere. It's like you have to check a box on a list. No one wants a robotic celebration or acknowledgement. So you're going to have to learn to celebrate sincerely. So we have to develop a skill. Perhaps you have to add this as a skill to your repertoire so that you can be gain respect and gain access to your team members. So learn how to celebrate sincerely. One thing I don't like is and I think is detrimental to a team is when we have a false celebration. A false celebration comes across about like false humility. If you're not really being humble, but you're saying something so that someone can think you're humble, but they know you're not humble, that's false. Well, a celebration that has a fake smile with not no heart behind it, no real intent to celebrate, it becomes demotivating. So when we look at this thing, we want to celebrate wins, both big and small. We want to celebrate wins according to the actual impact of the victory, and then we want to celebrate sincerely. This is critical for our success. So as we look to grow in our areas and grow in our teams and foster team spirit, we've got to learn how to celebrate. So if I could borrow a line from the Kool and the Gang song from the 80s, celebrate good times. Come on, let's celebrate. I look forward to us celebrating wins in your team. Secondly, if we're going to foster team spirit, we have to get to the place where we build inclusivity. Build inclusivity. Now, I alluded to this just a bit in the celebration component, but understand that inclusivity means that there's an environment where everyone in our organization, everyone on our team, not only feels valued, but they are valued, and they know that they can have themselves a positive impact on the morale of our team and on the performance of our team. Inclusivity changes the way we do business. Inclusivity will change the culture of your organization. Inclusivity will expand the capacity of your organization. Let's talk about it. The first thing is everyone in the building matters. And I say in the building, but I know now we have virtual employees. What I'm saying is everybody on the team matters. If we didn't need them, then they wouldn't have a job. So no matter how small it may appear, how small it may seem, everybody on the team matters. You've heard it said like this: there are no big I's and little U's. There's no I in team and all of these things. But really, we want a culture. We want a team spirit that says You matter to this brand. What you bring to the table makes a difference. What you bring to the table gets us to the place we need to be. Period. And so how do we handle this thing when you're looking to value people and really share with them that they matter, because no one makes it by themselves, no man is an island, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How do we get people to know they matter? The way that they know they matter is that they actually are allowed the opportunity, they're afforded the opportunity to have input. So as a leader, what you have to do is ask for input, but do it without providing guardrails. Now hear me out. When I say providing guardrails, if as a leader, I invite you into a meeting, and in this meeting, I tell you my entire strategic plan for our deliverables and how we're going to get there, and then I ask you, do you have any input? Well, what I'm really asking you is, do you approve of what I've said? Do you agree with the direction I'm going? Can I count on you to carry out my vision and my dream? Well, you're not going to get much candid feedback in that situation because you've placed guardrails on those you've requested input from. So if you're going to foster team spirit, the glue of leadership, what you're going to have to learn how to do is ask for input, but don't provide guardrails. That means that when you ask for input, you want to stay in the macro, macro, macro vision. Now, I get it. When you do that, there's no telling what you might get. But when you take the guardrails off, there's no telling what you might get. In other words, when you don't restrict your employees, your team members, to certain thought processes and you allow them to think, their thinking becomes additive to you and not repetitive or redundant. In other words, if I tell you how to think, you'll say exactly what I say, you'll think what I think, and you'll do what I do, which means that we're only going to be as good as I can be. But when we take those guardrails off, my friends, and we allow team members to come to the table of creativity and allow them to give input, they'll understand that they're included in this process. Now, understand, we're not going to be able to use every idea, and we may get more bad ideas than good ideas. But what we will also get is we'll get stretched thinking, we'll get inclusive thinking, and we'll get people on board. And guess what? When you have a chance to have input on our direction, now your input to you personally, it equals ownership. You feel like you own it, and so now it's no longer you carrying out someone else's thoughts or ideas, but now you're on a team and you're included in this thing. So remember, everyone matters. Ask for input, but don't put guardrails on the thought process. We don't want to have redundant thinking or ideas as what we've said, so that we have regurgitation of our thoughts. But what we want to do is we want to take team member, add it to team member, add it to team member, add it to team member. Then we expand our input. And the last thing I want to tell you on this part is I want you to leverage or lean on other strengths. See, when the guardrails are off, what happens is I'm going to speak from my place of confidence and my place of strength. And so now what you get is you'll get expert input from your subject matter experts that is expanded thinking based on their knowledge, their passion, their capacity, their strengths. And so now we get a better pool of ideas and thoughts, and also significance to the team. If I have the opportunity to speak up and share my thoughts, it's going to help us to be better. Let's just tell the truth. As leaders, entrepreneurs, owners of business, we have ideas and we get people to join us to help us to execute and carry out our ideas, right? I get it. But what if we think about this? What if we have a situation where we need to expand or we need to grow, and since we're not strong in every area, we allow those who are strong in those other areas to contribute in their area of strength. Now we become a bunch of experts who are passionate, who are ready to go. And when we do that, guess what else happens? We get to celebrate more. Why? Because we win more. See, what I want you to think about is as you're leading, as you're looking for morale, as you're looking to boost performance, when you allow people to get in their area of genius, that's what Patrick Lencioni calls it. He calls it working genius. When you get in those places where you find fulfillment in what you do and you're included, oh, you can't stop the brand then. So now we're winning, 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 and we're all about the celebration. Listen, you are listening to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. We are here each and every week on all of your places where you get your content of a podcast, and we are there for you. This is a place where you will get value added, no gimmicks, no games, always content, and we will tell you how we can help you. So today we're talking about fostering team spirit, the glue of leadership. We've already talked about celebration. We don't celebrate small victories. We celebrate all victories. We've also talked about building a culture of inclusivity so that everyone matters. We increase morale. We have a positive impact. We increase our performance. We ask for input, but we don't provide guardrails. We allow them to think, and then we leverage the expertise of everyone in the room. And as we make this final turn today, I have one more thing I want to share with you, and that is going to be a bit challenging for us as leaders, but we're going to get here. Remember, everyone is not a super rah cheerleader. So we got to be sincere in what we're doing. But the last part we want to talk about today is how to navigate conflict with grace. Understand you are going to have conflict within your organization. It is almost inevitable. You will have conflict. And with that conflict, if we don't learn how to navigate it with grace, it will damage relationships. When we damage relationships, now we damage our culture. We lose our harmony. And now we begin to have, instead of just organizational conflict, we have personal conflict. And now we have challenges that and if we don't resolve them, they hinder us. So I want us to be clear that conflict by nature is difficult. It's hard, but we won't always agree. And so we have to understand, if we have a team spirit, what that does is it takes the personal out of our processes when it becomes a negative situation, because we're all on the same team. We're glued together by our leadership. And so we know that conflict is simply an opportunity for us to lead well. Let me say that again. Conflict is an opportunity for us to lead well. Our leadership shows best in conflict. So one thing I want to teach you practically when you're responding to conflict is pause. That's right. Press pause. When you get an email that causes conflict internally to you, don't hit reply. Go on to the next email, walk away from that, and come back after you've had a chance to relax, read through it. Even when you hit reply, I would suggest that you don't put a name in the to line. So delete the name so that it's empty. That the recipient name is empty, so you can't accidentally send something, because your first response will be your most emotional response, and you don't want to do that. So if we're gonna, because the goal here now, remember, is we're gonna navigate conflict with grace. So when we talk about grace, the goal is for us as a team to win, but not at the expense of each other. We want to win, but we don't want to have casualties within the team along the way. It's not a win at all cost. It's a win where we can all win. So grace is not about what your team member deserves. It's about what you would desire to receive. So think about that for just a moment. When we talk about grace, there are going to be times when you have team members who you have to deal with, you have to address conflict, and they've created challenges in how they've performed. Let's not make it personal. Let's keep it business. Let's keep it respectful. Let's keep it in the content or the concept of team. But when you deal with them the way you would like someone to deal with you, by not giving you what you deserve. Leaders, talk to me real quick. How many things have you done in your career that you deserve to be fired for, but somebody didn't fire you? They decided not to fire you. They decided to give you another chance. And because they gave you another chance, you grew into the magnificent leader you are today. So grace simply says, we're not going to go in this conflict harsh and personal and name calling and demeaning and degrading our fellow team members, because we value them. They are very valuable to us, but we're going to resolve the conflict through leadership, through respect. We have a culture of accountability. So I'm not suggesting that we don't hold our team members accountable. As a matter of fact, failure to hold your team members accountable in the right kind of way actually does more harm to their development than good. We have to know when we've missed the mark. We have to know when we've messed up. So I want you to learn that, yes, conflict is difficult. Pause before responding and then be considerate, because we don't want to solve or resolve the conflict at the expense of another team member. There will always be exceptions to the rule. There will always be situations where we may have to separate from that individual, but it shouldn't be because we were being harsh or not being reasonable with them, that we haven't taken the time to develop them and grow them. You don't get to hold someone accountable for what you fail to equip them to do. You don't get to hold someone accountable for what you fail to equip them to do. Listen, I am enjoying this topic, but unfortunately, I'm out of time this week. So I want you to foster a team spirit. That's the glue of leadership. I want you to learn how to celebrate. I want you to learn how to be inclusive. And I want you to learn how to navigate conflict with grace. And remember, when you are solving conflict and resolving conflict, that can be your finest hour of leadership. Oh, it has been my pleasure to hang out with you again this week here on Speaking with One Voice. I'm so excited to be back, and I'm so excited to bring you this on all of our podcast platforms, as well as our YouTube channel at Rodney R. Payne. Please go ahead, go there, subscribe, and check this out each and every week. Share it with your team members, share it with your friends, and I want you to do me a favor. As always, I want you to understand that you are a leader and you've got to work at that thing. You've got to invest in it, and you're worth it. I believe in you. You can do this. Listen, you have been listening to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. Until next time, let's keep growing.
You've been listening to Speaking with One Voice. Please remember to follow Rodney Payne on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Rodney R. Payne. We'd love to hear from you and get your feedback, so please feel free to leave us comments. And if you would, rate and subscribe to the podcast, we'd appreciate that as well. Don't forget to set up for notifications so you can get the latest updates and social media posts and get new podcasts when they're released. As always, use the hashtag Speaking with One Voice or simply SWOV on any of your social media posts. On behalf of Rodney Payne, thanks again for listening to Speaking with One Voice.